What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you stopping by for the first time, do me a real quick favor. See that red subscribe button down below? Go ahead and push that. Show your support for the channel. Those of you stopping by that have been here before, welcome back to TLTG Reviews, my friends. Glad you came see me. So you notice, setup's different. Back in Sugarland. Figured I'd change it. Same room as before. A lot of changes being made. But it's that time again. It's a weekly rotation. It's week number 17. Stay tuned. So starting off on Sunday was actually first time I wear this fragrance. I only have a decant. And after, I've tested it a few times on my arm, but after wearing it twice, I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to need a full bottle. And that's from Yves Saint Laurent. That's why Eau de Parfum. The opening didn't really wow me, but the dry down, some good stuff, no doubt. The opening's okay. It's the opening's where it gets the generic tag. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, blue fragrances get that tag a lot because they're very mass appealing, compliment getting, dumb reach, versatile. You know, dumb reach, versatile, kind of however you want to say it. But as the day progresses, I just found myself liking this one more and more and more and more. And it was an absolute pleasure to wear. I'm starting to put a little bit of a dent in it. I got a few more wearings that I'll go through before I even attempt to grab a bottle. I want to make sure I'm going to wear it before I spend the money on a bottle because it's not cheap. Not super expensive, but not cheap by any means. So on Sunday, I had wore white Eau de Parfum. And then later that evening, after I shaved, I actually forgot to use the matching shaving cream. But after the fact, I did go ahead and bust this one out because it feels great on my skin and smells great after a shave. It's very barbershop for a tobacco fragrance. It's Ernest Hemingway Signature Collection Eau de Parfum. This one, I mean, the cap and the atomizer make it look cheap and cheesy. But I'll tell you what. This is some very, very good juice that's in this bottle, and watch how big the mist really puts out. Oh, and it smells amazing. It's a barbershop tobacco fragrance, and that's not something you run across a whole lot nowadays. You used to, but oh man, I smell it in the air. This stuff is really good, really refreshing after a shave, especially when you use their shaving cream in conjunction with it. My skin felt amazing afterwards. I smelled great for hours. I would say it went a good 6 or 7 hours before it became a skin scent. I woke up the next morning, I could still faintly smell it coming off the front of my neck because it's all part of where I shave. But on Sunday, after the shower, Ernest Hemingway Signature Collection. Moving on into Monday. So Monday was one that it was the first time full wearing for me on a fragrance that's very new to the collection. It's a new 2020 release. It's from Ralph Lauren. It's Polo Deep Blue Parfum. I actually did do a full review of that. I'll put that right there if you want to check that out. For a blue fragrance, it's more green than you would anticipate. The cypress and clary sage add a ton of herbaceous greenness to it. It's a very fresh, spicy feel for such an aquatic fragrance. And it smells great. It performs decent. You're not looking at an 8-hour performer, even though it's parfum concentration like I was hoping. 6 hours, solid projection. It's a great fragrance. I'm going to wear it a lot this spring and definitely in the summer. This is Polo Blue with a maturity, but it's a little more modernized as well because it is Ambroxan heavy. Not going to beat around that bush. It's definitely an Ambroxan heavy fragrance, but it blends very well with the sharpness. When you have two sharp notes like that, it just works. The way the blend is, it just works. And that's Polo Deep Blue Parfum. And then later that evening, once I got out the shower, it was time to wear this one. It's been a little while. It's from English Laundry Signature. I do have a backup bottle of this. I do love this one. If you're looking for one that you don't need crazy performance out of, you just want to smell fresh and clean, this is lavender heavy, sandalwood heavy. Very soapy aromatic. 5-hour fragrance, spray and go. It does its job, and on down the road you go. I do have a backup gift set of it as well, and this was part of a gift set. I do have the shower gel in my shower as we speak, and most of the time when I use one, I use the other because I like to spray this one out. This is one of the English Laundry fragrances I like to spray out the shower. Really the only one, and it's great for just going run errands around town. It's going to be sharp and clean, but don't knock it until you try it getting out of the shower. It's very, very refreshing. And that's English Laundry Signature. Moving on into Wednesday. This is arguably my favorite blue fragrance. Those of you watching the channel for a while, you know exactly where I'm going with this when I say something like that. And I know I love this fragrance. And when there's an elapsed time period between wearing to wearing, I fall in love with it all over again because I forget just how much I love it until I spray it. And that's from Salvatore Ferragamo. It's Acqua Essenziale Blue. You see the dent in that bottle. Dent's bigger in this bottle than most bottles in my collection. I just love the way this one smells. And it performs. This is a performer on my skin. Every bit of 8, 9, 10 hours sometimes. I think it was pushing 10 hours when I wore it this past week. And it projects pretty heavy for about 2.5 hours. And still leaves a pretty good scent trail for several hours beyond. You can get this one very, very cheap. Sub $20 range for a 50 ml like this. 100 ml, $20 to $25. Gift sets, same price range. This is a great blue fragrance. This one gets overlooked a lot in the community. I'm happy to be one of the few people to shed a lot of light on it in the YouTube community for the fragrance world. And I really believe this is one that's underutilized for the price. Because if you like blue fragrances, you like versatile fragrances that are going to get you some compliments, you're going to enjoy the way you smell, and you can do just about everything with. This, for the price, is very, very difficult to beat. That's Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue. And then later that evening, when I got out the shower, speaking of blue, it's from Nautica. Blue Sail. Nautica Blue Sail. Some good stuff. I've only put a little bit of a dent in this half-ounce bottle because it's one that I tend to forget that I have because it hides very easy. It's a little bitty bottle. Fans of Nautica Blue, this has a soapier quality. It's less fruity and a little bit more aquatic and woody than Nautica Blue. Nautica Blue is super fruity, fresh citrus. They're very synthetic. They're Nautica fragrances, but this is one that tends to get overlooked that not many people talk about a whole lot, and it's just funny seeing that little bitty bottle, you know, little half-ounce bottle. I've always liked the way they designed it, kind of like a sail for their logo. But I digress. Irrelevant to the juice. The juice is wonderful on this. It's great out the shower. It's crisp and clean. It's aquatic. You're just going to like the way you smell. And that's Nautica Blue Sail. Moving on into Wednesday. Just like when I was talking about my Salvatore Ferragamo Acqua Essenziale Blue, it's one that when time elapses between wearings, you forget just how much you love this fragrance. And that's the situation with this one. This is arguably my favorites, and I love a freshie. Don't get me wrong. This is arguably my favorite summer fragrance. It's from Bulgari, Aqua Atlantique. This is a powerhouse. This smells incredible. The opening is powerful. Salty aquatic. The dry down is even more beautiful. And it just goes and goes and goes and goes. Sprayer works very well. This smells incredible. If you haven't gotten your nose on this one yet, you need to, because this smells amazing and it performs. This is a powerhouse for the summer. And one of the better blue fragrances. It's much more salty, marine, aquatic than most blue fragrances. Bulgari put their twist on it and made it summery for sure. And this is one that I'm not going to say gets overlooked, but doesn't get talked about as much as it should, because in my opinion, this is one of the best summer fragrances you can get if you need some performance. If you want a performer in the high heat, look for Bulgari Aqua Atlantique. And then later that evening, my favorite sprayed out the shower, Nautica Classic. Can never go wrong. Speaking of salty marine fragrances, that's a good way to describe this one. Kind of double dipping on the salty marine fragrances on Wednesday, I believe it was. Yeah, on Wednesday. I love this one. This is my favorite Nautica fragrance. Has been, always will be. Nautica Classic. Moving into Thursday, this was quite versatile. This was a moving day. Coming on back to Sugarland, this was what I wore that day. When I drove back anyways. I didn't move all my stuff till yesterday on Saturday. But one that, aside from Jeremy fragrance, I don't see a whole lot of people talk about it. And it's kind of a shame because it is the freshest take on this DNA. Armani Code Colonia. Citrusy, fresh, powdery, versatile. The color's fitting. It smells like a blue fragrance. And It actually projects better than most people might give it credit for, at least on my skin it did. Quite a few hours. I was smelling it radiating off of my chest. This is good stuff, and you can get it cheap. You can find testers in that $30 range all over on eBay. You might get lucky from time to time. I actually got this one for $27 on eBay. And as you can see, this one is a tester as well. I do have a tester box laying around right here. There we go. Boom shakalaka. Armani Code Cologne. So it's one that, like I said, people just label it generic and on to the next one. And, you know, a lot of these have similar qualities. Some have similar smells, but you can't deny how good they smell and how much others around you are going to enjoy the way you smell. And this is a prime example of that with Armani Code Cologne. And then double dip 2 days in a row. Was actually out the shower. Nautica Classic. I just love this fragrance. We'll just move on. Moving into Friday was my first day back hanging out around Sugarland, so I wanted something that just was a joy to wear. It's Blue Fragrance Week. I didn't necessarily need anything that was going to project heavy. I just wanted to spray, go out and about, need not worry about it because it's going to last me all day. So I went with Chanel, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. I love this one. No, I didn't wear a suit and tie with it, obviously. But this one goes dressed up, dressed down. You can do just about everything with it. It's very, very versatile. But it's polished and put together enough that you can go suit and tie all day, every day with this one. This is the best Bleu de Chanel in my opinion. Some will argue me down with Eau de Parfum, and I understand that because that's a great fragrance too. And some love the Eau de Toilette. I just don't care for the Eau de Toilette. But I do understand your arguments with the Eau de Parfum for sure. But at the end of the day, this just happens to be my favorite. I don't see myself ever even getting the other ones because I like this one so much, and it'll take me forever to go through this 100 ml. But on Friday, running around for my little haul video that y'all saw the other day, this is what I was wearing that day, the Bleu de Chanel Parfum. And then later that evening, I forgot to grab this when I grabbed Bleu de Chanel. I mean, you see the cap, it's a Voyage fragrance. Voyage Sport. You see the dent starting to get in that 50 ml. I spray this one a lot more than you would think. I just love the way this one smells. This one's a bit more creamy and citrusy. There's more woods to this one, I find. Hence the Sport designation. This is a great fragrance. You see this out there? This is one of the better Nautica fragrances to get your hands on. It does not smell exactly like the namesake that it's a flanker of. It doesn't smell exactly like Voyage. You will get the Voyage vibe, but this is, you know, a fitting name. It's a sportier take on the Voyage DNA. The apple's gone, obviously, but Friday night out the shower, Nautica Voyage Sport. And then on Saturday, rented a truck and went and get the rest of my stuff out of that apartment. Hence why there's no fragrances set up right there. But I went with Invictus Legend. It's a tester bottle, hence why the name's printed on the front. Haven't put a huge dent in it. Put a little bit of a dent in it. Hold it to the side, you can see it. I've only worn it a handful of times. But I tell you what, very strong opening. I understand that this isn't for everyone because of how salty it is in the opening. I'm not a fan of overly salty. But if you can get past that and get into the dry down, this thing's beautiful. This is arguably the best dry down of the Invictus line. And that's coming from a guy whose favorite fragrance is the original Invictus. And second favorite, arguably, is Invictus Aqua 2018. So give this one a chance. This was a great release for the line from 2019. And I really enjoyed it. It performed all freaking day long yesterday through me sweating like crazy, going up and down stairs and moving furniture and so on and so forth. This did the thing. This was not the right fragrance for that. You know, it's wasting sprays in a way, but I was enjoying how I was smelling. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And so anyway, it's one of those fragrances that, like I said, doesn't get enough love, but I enjoyed wearing it. Invictus Legend. And then later that night, it was actually a double dip. Once again, I went with Nautica Voyage Sport. Like I said, I love this one out the shower. So until next time, guys, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. I do appreciate all the feedback. I love hearing from you guys. Like I said, as you can see, the setup's different. It's going to be changing. Added my little logo playing in the background. There's going to be fragrances on there, probably the same ones that were before, Happy Land and Dior and Zaharoff and Mancera and all that good stuff's going to go back up there. But I'm back in Sugarland permanently. Just didn't work out in San Antonio. Wasn't happy. Wanted to come home. So I came home. And no, I'm not going back to Mercedes. I'm going back to luxury, but I'm not going back to Mercedes. So, because I know a lot of you are going to ask. But I will say this, until next time, if you get your hands on some of these and you give them a spray now, there's a real good chance you'll thank me later. Have a good one, guys.